Yo guys, welcome back to more Wrestling News Mirror, and today my friends, I'm going to talk about all the rumors of this week, all the hottest, rumors that has been surfaced online. So here we go. The first rumor comes from Pro Wrestling Sheets, because we have, more information about WWE Draft. According to Ryan Satane of Pro Wrestling Sheet, he noticed on his Twitter that a sold sources said that WWE Draft is happening on July the 18th episode of Monday Night Raw. And we all know that, both SmackDown and Raw is going to have a split. So it's going to be interesting to see how, this will turn out. And we all also know that the draft, like I said, will also happen. So it's kind of interesting to see how they will do it, because usually WWE Draft kind of sucks in my opinion. But right now I'm kind of pumped to see how this will go on, because if you watch Raw and SmackDown, they right now they're pushing towards the brand split more and more, which there's a feud going around with Stephanie and Shane on who's taking over Raw and who's taking over SmackDown. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that goes in. And we have another storyline or rumor, and this comes from Jerry Lawler, because a story going around that, has that Jerry Lawler is telling fans at the event recently that WWE will host two separate, special live events each month after the brand splits. One for Raw and one for SmackDown. Except, for like 3 pay-per-views which every show has combined, which is WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, and SummerSlam. And this I see possible, because why do they have a brand split if they don't have, separate pay-per-views? But in the other hand, if they're gonna do, it's different, pay-per-view, they need to make it interesting. So you don't have, your usual boring, pay-per-views such as, bragging rights or, what's more, Payback is kind of cool, but it's kind of dead. Fastlane, for example, which is a horrible pay-per-view. It's going to be interesting to see how they will top each other with, different pay-per-view, but I'm excited. And also, my friends, speaking of SummerSlam, there is also, reports that, WWE will host SummerSlam, and it's estimated to be in 4.5 hour long this event in this year. And to be honest, it's not a big, shock, because, last SummerSlam was also, I think, this long, but I can't really remember what matches happened, last year's SummerSlam. But it's going to be interesting to see, which match that's going to take place at SummerSlam, because SummerSlam is a very huge pay-per-view that WWE hosts. So it's going to be interesting to see how good and, what type of matches and what type of storyline we'll get. And I've seen, a lot of people, complaining about having longer pay-per-views, but if you have good matches and good storyline to those matches, I don't really think that you care about how long the hour of the actual pay-per-view will be. So I think if WWE has, good matches for the pay-per-view, I think it's going to be a fantastic, pay-per-view. Now, if you didn't know, Bobby, Roode, a former, TNA star, actually did his, NXT debut in, I think, 3 days ago in NXT Download. Strange name, by the way. Now we have some more information about him, and it's expected that, Bobby Roode is going to be working with NXT on a regular basis moving forward. But there's, it's talk about that he might, make it to the main roster when, SmackDown and Raw make their brand split, which means that both, either Shane McMahon or Stephanie McMahon could get Bobby Roode to the roster. So that's going to be interesting, because Bobby Roode is a guy that I kind of thought that he would, make his debut sooner, but I'm really glad that it turns out that he actually did his debut, and it looks like he have actually signed a contract, which is perfect, because when we saw James Storm coming into WWE, we were all happy, because we actually thought that he will, stay with NXT. But he, I think he had 2 or 3 matches. Afterwards, he jumped straight back to TNA. So that was kind of a weird move. But hopefully, Bobby Roode has a legit contract. So we have to wait to see. And now comes the final news of this week, and this is actually news surrounding TNA wrestling. I know, because according to PW Insider, Billy Corgan is going to be a new minority owner of TNA. And if you haven't listened to more TNA news, it looks like TNA wanted to have a new owner for the company, except Dixie Carter, of course. So they're trying to seek and get better buyer to the company, and it looks like they found a guy, Billy Corgan. I'm not too sure who that guy is, but if you look him up, I think you're gonna find more information about it. I usually don't watch TNA, so I couldn't, it's not a big deal for me. But if you're a TNA fan, this might be a big, news for you. But anyway, guys, that's all for me. And if you have heard any other interesting topics or news that I haven't brought, please let me know in the comment section down below, and I will reply to you as fast as I can. And that's all for me, guys. Like I said, please like this video, subscribe, and comment section down below what you think about this video. Do you like it where I talk about more news that surrounds for this week, or do you think I should do a separate videos of everything? So yeah, guys, that's all me. Stay tuned for more videos, and as always, have a nice day. Peace, guys.